Hey everyone, it's Igal. So I know from the title, you may have expected me to be like very sad in this video or something, considering it's called Why I Hate Being a Realtor, and I'm kind of laughing a little right now. It's because I wrote down more things that I really thought that I was going to write down. This video will not be a super drag. It's gonna actually be kind of funny, and really why it's funny is because it's so sad that this is true that it is. And so just, I don't know, when I think of this, it's kind of funny, but honestly, it hurts. It really does. So basically, I have to throw a disclaimer because I feel this is one of those videos where it kind of needs a disclaimer. And my disclaimer would be this is my personal experience, unfiltered, totally true. And there's honestly a ton of people with the same experience. It really is heartbreaking. I'm not going to lie. Basically, I've almost been a realtor for like 6 years. And it really, like, there's no levels to say, like, this is like layers of pain to go through this for this long. Basically, aside from that, that's my disclaimer. I don't, like, I hope to not get, like, mad hate from so many other realtors who maybe made it, or, like, MLSs and stuff, organizations, whatever. I mean, this is personal experience. We have freedom of speech. This is YouTube. Without further ado, this is why I hate being a realtor. Enjoy. All right. So one, income is completely unstable. In most jobs, you would really expect that you're going to get paid weekly, bi-weekly, maybe like once a month when the project ends. And even then, it's probably not going to be like super stretched out. And you know that basically you have some security as long as you have a customer, a client, your job, somebody signing it off that you're getting paid in some form consistently. That's just what it is, hourly, salary, whatever. There's multiple ways. So in this job, it's not just commission based, it's cutthroat commission based. So I feel there should be a separate, term like that. Why is because you get paid literally if, let's say, I don't know, there may have been like a science law to this, but it's basically if nothing totally fails, you get paid. Like, I think that's the best way to describe it. So basically that means if you go on Google and type in why do real estate transactions fail, you'll have enough things to read until your next birthday. So basically, there is so many ways that these things will fail. Like, it's sad on everyone, the buyer, the seller, the agents involved, title companies, everybody, mortgage people. Everyone just can't stand when this happens. And it happens very frequently. Like, many people are like, oh yeah, this team closed like 1,000 transactions. This person did this many. Doesn't matter. They have even had many fail on the way. That's the reality. When you have a team, maybe if you're in a very good, solid financial position, maybe it doesn't hurt you as bad if a few fail, but I'm sure it still hurts the clients and stuff. So just keep that in mind. Income is delayed until the end. So again, like I said, if the transaction takes 1 month for a buying or a selling transaction to happen, then you get paid at the end of that. And then still not at the end, like everyone, keys get exchanged by the seller and buyer and stuff, and still you don't get your pay until it goes to your office first. Because, at least in Nevada, the broker is entitled to the commission, and then it goes down to designated agent. So if I'm working with the buyer, I have to wait until all the transaction ends, then it goes into the office. Then the office issues it to me, minus all these cuts and stuff, which I'll talk about later. Yeah, basically that. And another thing is that we were taught in orientation and in many different continuing education classes, we should definitely identify what our average hourly wage is. So you're probably thinking, what average hourly wage? You just said commission. True. So you have to backtrack this. Like, you don't do it like normal, like you would in a regular job. So let's say, as an example, you make whatever amount of money, you choose a number. Now you divide that based on like all the amount of hours that you've worked for all your transactions, let's say for the year, or if let's say you made one transaction, then you're going to say, okay, that one transaction divided by all of the hours it took me on that transaction. You do the math, you see the final result. Many times it really hurts. I think mine was less than like $2 an hour or something. I honestly would have been better off in literally probably any other job. And yeah, it's very difficult. And there is another thing. Many people don't realize how hard this job really is. And, you know, I'm a different example. I'm a very different example. I didn't go into this job for the money. I like this whole one-on-one working with people. It's like my personality. I like being able to guide people with expertise on something and really working with them one-on-one through something. I really like that. So that's why I did it. And basically, it hurts a lot when you get some clients that they're like, hey, can you give me, some people call it like commission rebates. There's a lot of terms for it. But basically, can you give some of your commission to me? And, in some ways, it's actually, I believe, illegal to do. And then in other ways, it just straight up hurts because you worked so hard. Literally, so hard is an understatement. And then someone tells you, hey, can you give you don't go to somebody on an hourly and say, hey, can you do this job and then also give me your paycheck? How rude. But somehow in this job, a lot of times clients think that it's just okay to do it, and it just hurts. It's very heartbreaking, shows they have no respect for a person, and it's just rude altogether. Another thing is that similar to how many people really hate group projects in high school and just general in life. Some people are solo players, respect. Some people are group players, respect to them too. Everyone has their own style. Honestly, I'm kind of a little more on the individual side, but I do work with groups. Things in life require you to do that. That's fine. I understand it. I keep going. I adapt and keep going. So pretty much, that would make sense in most places in life. In this job, I feel that many, I don't know, I would probably call this 90% or more of the transactions I was in, I felt like I was doing very much multiple jobs. I wasn't just a realtor and giving guidance. No, I was also an adult babysitter, because I had to tell the other age, can you please do this? Can you please sign this? I actually need it for my office. I think you need it for your office too. Last time I checked, we kind of all need this done properly. And, this is where it kind of gets to the point where really everyone does have to do things very properly. This isn't a joke. This is buying a property. There is a lot involved here. Legally, contracts, things really have to be taken seriously. And I took this extremely seriously, broker status seriously. And what ended up happening is that a ton of people don't. So I end up having to go be a babysitter and telling them, hey, can you please get this signed? I really need this. This is very much even in our contract, it says time is of the essence, meaning get things done on time, within reasonable time, but seriously get it done. It's like a parent telling a kid do your homework. You're gonna do it, right? You have to. If not, you're gonna fail a grade possibly. There's negative effects of not doing it. So, same thing, it's just really rude because one, I felt bad for the clients on their side that they don't know they have somebody who may possibly be telling them that they're taking care of everything and totally ignoring. And another thing, this possibly may be a point where many realtors may have hate to this video, saying, oh, they may be busy, they may have a ton of transactions. Well, my response to that is fair to a certain extent. So, if somebody has a lot of transactions, first of all, you should know how many transactions you can handle and not be solely greedy. That's one. Two, the other thing is that many times a lot of these people with multiple transactions have teams. And things are designated and things are taken care of. That's cool. All right. And then you would really expect that with many people taking care of their parts here, that there's enough time for the realtor to get things organized and, give their tasks to everybody who's helping them. That's fine. A lot of times that still doesn't happen. They'll try to get, I've had better experience getting the team people, team members, I would say, in contact with them. They would still overall need, permissions and stuff from the main realtor though. And I don't have things against teams. I think it is a good way to get things done efficiently when it is done efficiently, which in many times, in my case, again, disclaimer alert, personal experience, didn't work out the way I thought it would. was not as efficient as I thought it was. You can't really blame the team members though when the realtor is the one telling them what to do and they're not efficient themselves. Pretty difficult. So without talking for 10 years about that, yeah, it's really hard, to work sometimes with other people. Last note of it, a lot of agents are actually extremely rude. And, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want the client to miss a deadline and potentially be put in a situation they don't need to be. And it's risky. To those who want to research this more, it's called the due diligence period. There's times where things need to get done. Just like in assignments, you have deadlines and things need to be done in these deadlines. And when they don't, people lose their rights, essentially is what happens. Like right to getting repairs done for an inspection within the first, let's say, example, 10 days or so. That's due diligence covered right there. But then there's more things in it as well. So it's hard when you're kind of put in this position where you can't really tell people, like, hey, you're doing this mistake. I'm not perfect, but I really want this to work out for everybody. Can you please do this? And then they give you hate. They sometimes bully. They get really rude about it. They take it personal, like you offended them. Like, I didn't, I just said do your part like I'm doing mine. Thanks, that's it. Apparently that's too much for some people to hear. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of my other point. It's a lot of times war instead of cooperation. People want to do what's in best interest to everybody related, the clients and everything. And it just doesn't usually end up happening. At least in my times it didn't. And I'm not somebody who really goes to try to make someone's life hard or miserable. I honestly I keep it peaceful, I do my thing, but if someone doesn't do theirs, I do whatever's necessary to get everything done. Because sometimes it's unfortunate, and this is a known thing, it's a tactic by some agents to not do their part, to pressure the other side into getting into something. Either, like I said, passing their due diligence time or something to get them sealed in where they may lose a deposit if they don't do something. It gets really in-depth, but, something like that. And there is a lot of lies and tricking people, just in general. I don't like that a lot of realtors, they completely deceive people. It's not everybody. There is good realtors out there. I'm not the only one. I'm not like egotistical saying I'm the best or anything like that. There has been some really amazing realtors that I genuinely enjoyed working with. I wish I could say that there was more of them. Didn't get that luck though. That's kind of what I'm saying here. What else is there? Clients, and again, this is sensitive, right? Because clients have their view, the realtors have their view. I try to think of everything in multiple views. I don't want to think of it like I'm right, I was hurt, I'm victim, not like that. I think of everybody because that's the right way of saying maybe if I messed up or if someone messed up, something happened, right? So where and how did it happen? How does it get resolved? You got to see everyone's side for that. So what I wrote down over here was, this happened to me a lot, and it happened to a lot of realtors that I know, especially the very kind and sensitive ones. We tend to take a mad beating by the clients, verbally, emotionally, stuff like that. It's very rough. You try to do your part. I don't like to, I don't know what the exact phrase would be, but like, I do my best until there's nothing left I can do. I guess that would be the right way to say it. I've had so many clients ghost me, and for people who don't know what ghosting is, like it hurts, they'll call and they'll have so many expectations, find me this and this and this and this and this. That's not the issue. The issue is when you just put 4 hours looking through that, another 3, possibly 2 hours on and off between or on top, just to try to get, more information from other realtors and try to say like, hey, is your listing still available? This is my client situation. Can we make this work out? What do you think? What does the landlord think? Or what does the other side think? Kind of getting info. It's very information based and it's really analytical and very difficult. And a lot of times I've noticed in my case that clients did not appreciate it. They just think that it's like, there's a very common, really pure, painful perception that people have of realtors, that a realtor is basically Google. We have a ton of information and we just have to give it out, and they can use us, abuse us, take the info, take it to somebody else, do the transaction with them, like all these different things. It's extremely brutal. There's nothing at all polite about it. And some people, honestly, they will say, like some of the nicer clients, like, hey, I don't know, things aren't working, how do we fix this? Or what's going on with the prices, or are the expectations wrong or something? Some tried to find a resolution to get something to work out for everybody. A lot of them, unfortunately, again, think that we are Google. Like, I'm not Google. I don't plan on being Google. It's very difficult. And I know what I know. I try to learn a lot, to know a lot, to help guide people, but I don't know everything. What I don't know, I'll find out. But I would respect if people would not treat me like I'm a Google search where you just type it in and get the info and run. Like, I'm a human being. I also have a life. I have things. And I'm working sometimes till 4 a.m. for people, and literally starting sometimes at like 6, 7 a.m. And all of this is in the hope that something may happen where I get paid at the end for all this hard work, and at the end they ghost. So they take the info and then they run away, synonymous to ghost. So I'm just left there like, wow. And like, you start to get this, instead of a thick skin, a lot of us actually get so hurt so deep that we lack trust. And it's not a good thing. But the thing is, it does happen. And, we end up, many realtors, we balance ourselves out. We start saying, all right, maybe we'll take a break from this. We'll do a different path in the job, do something else. I don't know, rentals, or then buyers. We kind of bounce around. There's a lot of different things you can do in real estate. And there's that. There's other issues, like we get blamed for things that genuinely are the client's fault at times. Some people may go against this, but it's very common knowledge among investors, buyers, sellers, people scrolling on the internet. You have a very high chance, basically one of the higher chances of selling your place if you list it at a fair value based on comps, aka the last similar houses or condos or properties to yours in terms of square feet and a bunch of different factors. Obviously, just if you have a phone that's worth $300, that's like the worth. So that's the comps. You're not going to go put it for like 600, right? Like, no one's going to buy it. Maybe someone will. That maybe, everyone can think of that. That's valid. They have the right to choose whatever they want, whatever price they want. But when realtors tell people, especially when they go in great detail, like, this is, exhibit A, B, C, D, however many comps, recent times, these are the factors. These are the things. We're not saying this to reduce your value. We're literally just saying this because this is another place that actually got sold, meaning they did something right, part of which was probably, honestly, over 70% probably going to be the price. That's literally a reality. And, it's really difficult when you have people who they're just going to say, no, I want to put like 60,000 over. That's what I want. It's like, cool, that is what you want, but do you also want to sell your place? Is that actually the point? And some people will flat out not take a listing if it's overpriced by a drastic amount. And I feel that's fair. It's, everyone can do whatever they want. Just like if the seller believes that they can charge 60,000 over, and that's not something that goes in that market, then I think the agent is fine to not take it if they don't want to. If someone wants to, that's fine too. But it just depends. But I don't believe that the agent should be blamed if it doesn't get sold when if the agent really does their part. The agent gives a lot of information, and like, I'm talking, I used to give stacks, like literal stacks, but I would clarify very smooth as much as possible. And these were basically, what my recommendations were. I would get all this information, I would figure it all out. I would take hours to get all this organized. This wasn't templates, this was like my stuff all put together. If there was template forms, I would just kind of, I would use them to enhance the flow of everything, because it's just more information, more power, because it gets things across. I can't just give you verbal info and it's like you trusting my words. If I give you concrete proof, you'll believe me more. That extra effort is the reason why people trusted me. But the thing is, clients at times really like to blame agents for a house not being sold, or if, sometimes the agent says these terms may actually help you get the place because you're in a competitive time right now. It's like, market is hot, houses are going fast, so these things may work. Obviously not forcing anyone into it, just giving recommendation. If, a lot of times that might happen, or they might try to do something like get in contact with the listing agent or something, just to do extra work to help the buyer get their offer. It's all negotiation, it's all effort. If you do the minimum, you don't have a lot of chance. If you do the most that you can, you have a better chance to represent your clients, which, like, you should work hard for them. But if they lose the house and they didn't do a recommendation, that recommendation could have worked, they lost the house. It doesn't mean that they guaranteed would have got it, but it might have helped. And that's more, you don't have a downfall as long as it works out for you to take that advice. Like, if it's something very extreme, obviously, you don't want to do that, but if it's something in your means, it's not the end of the world, it may actually help. So there's that. There's honestly so many things on here. Another one, and this is probably the biggest burn of like almost all of them. Like I said, they think we're Google a lot of times, and clients will say, a lot of realtors they'll just ask it very upfront. They'll say, "Hi client, are you working with any other realtors right now? I do take my job seriously, and I want to make sure that I can work for you, but I can't really do my best if you're doing just, what do they call it? Window shopping between us or something, So it's very difficult. And that hurts because that's really a pre-thing to getting ghosted. A lot of times they'll say, "No, don't worry about it. We're not working with anybody. We're just working with you," all this. And then, when you're in this for a while, you already can hear, it's not judging, it just commonly people use the same, somehow just comes out the same dialogue. Almost like they learned it from each other, but it's just naturally, I guess, how some people are. And they'll speak in this way, and you'll know, "Okay, I'm going to get ghosted." Then you kind of play the intuition game. Was I right? Was I wrong? Probably 90% going to be right. Who knows? But there's that. There's, what else is there? I've been, honestly, it's not even comfortable to say this, but I say this because this video is to give transparent, honest information. Again, I'm not saying everybody goes through this, but many people have. Research it for yourself and you'll see. I have been, literally, my life has been threatened, I believe on multiple, actually, occasions. One was the worst. I'm not going to go into details of how it went down, but it was not comfortable. It was really, it's messed up. It shows you the worst part of the human race, honestly, like how people can be just so terrible. And, you're honestly just doing your part, like just on the phone giving information. The person, in my instance, I was told by the landlord to give information about a rental. This was his qualifying information, what he wanted in terms of saying, yes, this applicant may be approved. Applicants ask, will I be approved ahead of the application? I think it's very good to be able to give them information ahead of time instead of just saying, go fill out an application, and maybe they weren't even qualified to begin with and you wasted their money. That's cruelty. I don't do that stuff. I know a lot of people who do, but some really nice people who don't as well. And so this person was getting so pissed off that they literally threatened my life. Like, it was so bad, I can't even describe it. But it's something to take into consideration. You're looked at like somebody who is on call, like a nurse, but to go open somebody's house. They don't understand, because it's so common that this happens, they don't understand that there is risks to this. Like, it's not the safest job. I could definitely put it that way. If you're in a place most of the day, you're possibly in a safer situation than meeting tons of people you don't know. And you're basically trusting your instinct and praying that nothing's going to happen. And it's dangerous for women, it's dangerous for men, it's dangerous for everybody. It doesn't matter. It's just, there is danger to this job. I'm not saying everybody's going to be at risk, but look, there's agents that I know that they carry like self-defense weapons on them because they are scared something has happened to them. They don't want something to happen again. I'm not, again, trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to get people away from this job. I'm just trying to give honest transparency. These things do happen in other jobs, but I feel like because of the nature of this job and the conditions we work in, it happens a lot here. And it really hurts. So there's that. Again, I apologize, I could not memorize all this, but it's just to give all the info. And what else? Threatened by people, yeah, there was that. And it's honestly like multiple different jobs. I mean, this to some people it might not matter. I personally like, having a personal connection with people, but even for me, sometimes it got too intense. It is like having multiple jobs in one. It's not just being a realtor. Like some people will drop their personal life so hard on you. And if you're very sensitive like me, you'll feel that energy, it'll influence. It'll not influence, it'll impact your ability to keep going sometimes. Because it's hard, it drains. I don't want to cut people off, but at times like they don't let you not cut them off. And then, they don't let you cut them off. And just this whole cycle, it gets pretty vicious at times. I feel for things that people go through. I feel very deeply for it. Sometimes it's just a lot though, especially when you're already handling like in your mind, okay, this is the next showing, this is the, all these different things, the contracts, or, I was like mental mind mapping the routes. I was Google Maps in my brain for every client. As they talk, I'm like figuring out, okay, I'm branching this way, like it really got intense. So, add some hardcore energies on that, it doesn't really make it a lot easier. And what else was there? Okay, this part is a part that I'm sure a lot of people all over the world probably misconception, the money part. Talk finances now. So basically, we've all heard stories, people who have gotten into this job and became a millionaire or like super millionaire, whatever you want to call it, in like a year or in 6 months or 3 months and all this. I'm going to give a reality. This is not my reality. This is the reality according to so many other people that if you research this, you can easily prove this for yourself. I'm not saying that there isn't people who did not go hard work ethic and they made it hard. I'm not saying that. There is those people, there's the people, whatever you throw them in, they will make it. I'm kind of like that, but the thing is, I didn't make it because I have to really like what I'm doing, and I think that after a while I realized this job was just not for me. And so I'm going to be leaving it soon. And basically, this is the more common. Okay, that's like the best way I can say this without getting total hate from people and stuff. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. The most common way that people really make it in this job, it goes down like this. They either came from another job or in some baseline have a lot of connections. Like they have family who know a lot of people, and those were the transactions they got. Those friends of the family or friends of friends or, whatever, stuff like that. Some connection in their circle, their group that they know, they ended up buying or selling or renting or something, and that produced an income stream for them. Now, obviously, what a lot of people don't know, but I'm sure many who see this video will already know, and will be another reason why I hate why I hate this job, is you have to think of this job as a funnel. The same funnel that you may fill bottles from jars in, or, mechanic funnels. It's like round and it goes like that. So pretty much, if you take a funnel, you visualize my face as a funnel. Like, I don't really care. However you want to do it is fine. Think of it that you start off with this big funnel. You have to get a ton of people to come into this funnel, and at the end of the funnel will be like basically like prospects is what they call it, people who potentially could be a lead, people who potentially could be interested in buying, selling, renting or something. So they're sitting through, so they come through, they call, they email, they text, whatever, and then it shrinks. And why does it shrink? It's because out of, let's say, 100, some people will say out of 100 you get 1%. Depends on market, depends on skills, whatever, all these things. I'm just going to give an example, all right? People can use it as concrete or not, I don't really care. But out of 100, let's say, prospects, you get 100 people to come in. These 100 people are calling you for various different things. In a hopeful world, in a world that is, let's say like Disneyland for reference, it would be awesome. You put a lot of Facebook ads, or you just put a couple of Craigslist ads, or talk to some friends, you get 100 people. That's not the reality for most people, but let's say that for example. You got 100 people to enter your sales funnel. They contact you, and then once they contact you, you're thinking, okay, so now who of these people are truly interested? And in this hopeful world in Disneyland, you're going to think that you'll get like 20 interested clients. They're not 20 just regular interested clients. These 20 will give you awesome income as long as you do your part and you help them, because they're interested to buy or sell right now, right at this minute. No, that's not usually how it goes. One of the first offices that I interviewed, Century 21, I think it was, or one of them, I don't know who it was. The broker, he was telling me, you have to think 3 months ahead. Whatever you do now may result later. And it's honestly one of the most true things ever. You can call it 3, you can call it 6 months, it doesn't really matter. Months ahead, basically. You could think of it even a year ahead. So really what it is like, you're thinking you have this chunk of people, but in the reality, you may, and this would be amazing if out of 100 you got 1 or 2 or 3 people that would even be interested in 6 months from now. Like this, that's really what it is. And a lot of those times, like you have to follow up, but then you don't know how much to follow up at times. Obviously with years you get better, but the thing is when you're starting out, or if you don't have a lot of people in there, you try to overthink and think, how much should I follow up to not bother them so they don't hide? Or you think, and at the end, many times these people already have a realtor. They just contacted, for general info. It hurts. There's a lot of ways, like I said, the transactions fail, the prospects won't need somebody anymore. Either the agent contacted them too much, not too much, not at all these different things. And there's going to be 1,000 videos on YouTube that will just straight up blame you as a realtor and say, you didn't prospect enough, you didn't call enough, you called too little, or you called too much. And it's like, no. First of all, everyone's personality is different. So how I make contact may be more okay to do maybe twice a week, and someone else, maybe they can flow it better, it'll be better 3 times. Some people just short to the point, maybe once a week is all right. Once in 2 weeks, I don't know. And so you have things like that. Like I said, it's different. But the main result of what I'm trying to say, that I hope I'm not blabbing on this, it's, again, the funnel. So people into the top, they, at the end, who's actually going to be interested? And so these people, you can't judge them sometimes. Like sometimes they were interested and they're not. There's going to be so many different reasons. I can't even tell you how many, like there's a million scattered in my subconscious somewhere. Like there's just a ton. So, you either have a lot of connections, which is why I bring that point back. If you have a lot of connections, you already have those prospects coming to you. Like I said, also there's going to be some people who will not trust you when you get your license because they know it's a complex job, and that's just basically what it is. So it's difficult. Honestly, it's really not easy, but you try your best. And aside from that, if you put a lot of money, like a tremendous amount of money, then you can probably get some prospects out of it. But again, it's not a guarantee. I put some money in. I really didn't have a lot of money to even go into this job with, so I did blood equity, is what they call it, sweat equity, or polite term. I really worked to the bone and I grinded and I did everything I could and I didn't sleep for a long time. So I kind of turned out like a vampire from it. Flexibility of hours. Don't listen to people who say this is a job, where they emphasize that this is a job where you go in and you don't, like you get to choose your own hours and all that. No, like unfortunately the reality, like I said, research this if you don't believe me, it's fine. You don't get to choose your own hours. Your clients kind of choose them more for you. And if they feel that on 4th of July you want to relax, or on your birthday or on your child's birthday or something, you want to go relax, and they say they want to search because they're going out of town, they only have like 10 minutes to check it, and you're in the middle of the birthday wishes, I apologize, you may end up missing the birthday wishes for them. And you may take heat from whoever's birthday it was. But yeah, it's like that. Like you will probably miss some parts of holidays, some parts of enjoy your sleep. They may call you at 2 a.m. You may get somebody who calls you from another state and doesn't bother to check the time zone difference, and calls you when you're like hibernating at like 4 a.m. and you just really needed that sleep after a long week, and they're just perfectly there on time to ruin it. These things happen. It's sad. I'm not even being grim about it. All this stuff has happened to me before. It's really rough. yeah, just like I said, don't think like you're gonna have to grind these hours to actually make it, and it's not a guarantee. So it's really rough. MLS fees, okay. MLS fees are so high, like they are so expensive. You know, maybe if you make a tremendous amount of money, you just don't care about it. Same as if you had any business and make a tremendous amount, you don't really care so much on the expenses. But for right now, like in my 6 years, I did not get to that amount. I got to a lot of satisfied customers that I'm super close with, great people that I've met, other clients that I'm happy it didn't work out because they were just cruel, and I'm just done with the abuse. But yeah, like the fees, they're a hit. They really are. Like a lot of times, a lot of realtors, they look at their tax returns and they're like, oh man, it hurts so bad. I hit negative this year. I didn't even make a positive. Like it happens. It really does. The expenses are so there, and they're not even small. You put driving, insurances, all these things, business licenses. MLS is one of the worst ones. It's so expensive. It's really there. Continuing education, that's another one. And paperwork. The paperwork is so much. Like it's not even a joke. I don't even want to give this average, but I mean, there's definitely over like 70 pages minimum. I would say a majority of transactions can go into the hundreds, not hundreds, but like over 100, depending if you look at HOA documents. Some people they did and I did, and it's a lot. It really is. So there's that. If you don't like paperwork, this may not be the job for you. And you genuinely do have to be like on point for these things. Like you really have to make sure that you're getting stuff signed right, because if you look into errors and omissions insurance, there's always like these exclusions and stuff. Regardless, you don't want there to be problems with title and all these things later. You just don't want that. It's horror. So you don't want the horror of these things. You don't want to be in a horror movie. Just put it that way. This is the last point that I just want to make. There is so many threats of being sued, like from the MLS and the orientation, from continuing education. There is so much fear tactics put on realtors that any little thing they do, not anything, some things are very logical, many of them are not. So many things, though, in general, are being talked about between agents, between brokers, between so many different people about, this caused this person to get sued for how much? Well, I shot for 25,000. Sometimes you understand someone getting sued for genuinely like abusing their power or, stealing someone's money. But when you see that sometimes mistakes that were fixable, but they even sometimes get fixed, and I think they may even still like hit somebody with the penalties. These penalties are not a joke. Like they are so expensive. I have been in fear. I'm like, you don't have to scare me and I will do my part. There's many people like me out there. And then there's people that no matter how much you scare me, it doesn't matter, which is why continuing education will not always like teach them morals. You can't really teach ethics to some people. Some people are just unethical, and there's just a lot of threats of being sued, and these things are no joke. They're long, there's a lot involved in it. The penalties are really up there. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that I'm right about this. I remember hearing in one class that I took that a penalty, like, if the thing happens at all, the lawsuit, it goes through. If someone does bankruptcy, I don't know if this is Nevada, if this was here, maybe I might be wrong. I don't want to give 100%, but I'm like 90% sure. If somebody does like bankruptcy, they still have to pay. Like this thing is not immune by any way, any methods. So yeah, there's a lot. I'm sorry this video is long. I try to keep videos shorter, around 7 minutes, but this thing was from the heart. This thing was transparent. Again, I hope that I'm not going to get a bunch of haters writing to me on this, but whatever, it's life. I'll take it if that's what happens. I'm here to give transparency. Again, disclaimer alert number 2, not trying to tell people never be a realtor, don't enter this job. Everyone's decision is up to them, period. And just research a lot before you go into it. Watch many videos. Mine may be the longest one on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure mine may be the most, or one of the most in-depth ones. And based on like literally almost like 5 years and 10 months or whatever, like almost 6 years of experience. And I've seen a lot in the 6 years. So again, triple disclaimer, you do what you want, check into the info. I don't want to get, smashed by like the MLS or anything on this, but I'm just a person trying to do his part in this world, giving a reality that I wish somebody explained to me. I didn't get all this info in this depth, which is why I wanted to be hopefully the first, or at least one of the videos that really make an impact on the realities of this career, job, whatever you want to call it, if some people even want to call this a job. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed until literally, I don't know what it is, like 37 minutes or something at this point, seriously, thank you so much. And I hope you got like a lot of info out of this. I hope you have an awesome time. If you guys got any questions or anything, drop them in the comments. I'll get to them. All right. Thank you guys again. See you later.